everybody, Dacob here. Welcome back to the Fashion Bunker. Very interesting topic today. Sizzling and on fire topic today. Vêtements Balenciaga, Demna Gvasalia or Gvasalia, I don't know how to pronounce his name, on one side, and the rest of the world on the other. Well, it's not that extreme, but you know, I want to talk about this craze and hype of Vêtements and Balenciaga, or actually of Demna. Now, Wikipedia tells us Demna Gvasalia is a Georgian designer, fashion designer. He studied at Royal Academy of Fine Arts. He led design teams at Maison, Martin Margiela, and Louis Vuitton. Currently, he is the creative director of Balenciaga and head designer of Vêtements. There's a lot of stuff going on. This kid has been around the block a couple of times. Born 1981, age 35. My particular issue with Vêtements and Balenciaga subsequently is, first of all, this overhyped type of attitude, which I really dislike in general. I'm always very skeptical when something becomes too popular too fast and just kind of seemingly really kind of, you know, like really pokes at the nerve or the verve of the time. And yet something seems to be slightly off, and that slightly off is what usually appeals to fashion critiques as that something that we cannot define quite yet because it's avant-garde, because it captured the times to a T. So it's slightly off because we still have to grasp it. And that's what kind of makes it so hyper avant-garde, modern, desirable, whatever you want, amongst the kids and not just kids. Let's not forget the fact that Balenciaga, Cristobal Balenciaga, it was a master of proportions, futuristic looks. You know, you could Google some of Cristobal Balenciaga's historic pieces, neoprene-looking, kind of bubbly concoctions of gorgeously sculpted dresses and gowns that just transcend time. What is left of Cristobal Balenciaga today within the Demna vision of Balenciaga is nothing. I have the feeling that Demna has a huge ego and is like Demnifying Balenciaga. And this entire latest collection we've seen with kind of inspirations taken from Bernie Sanders, the Democrats, way little, way too late, Demna, because you should have kind of made this political statement when there still was time for Bernie to, you know, win in some way or form. And I've said this in a video before, but I'm repeating it now again. I do not like this sort of approach to an aesthetic of like, oh, we're the losers and it's so cool to be a loser. He lost and we're going to dress ourselves up in honor of that loss. That's bullshit. Listen, you either want to be pop, superficial. I have an example here, and I prepared quite a few examples today for the occasion. Very super Dacob. This is a university lecture for you for free. Look at that. Here's pop. This is Jeremy Scott's first collection for Moschino, and he has this McDonald's reference. The sweater is in cashmere and wool. It says Moschino. Over 20 billion served, kind of similar to, you know, the McDonald's statement. We have the Moschino logo there. It's very soft. It's the arched, you know, McDonald's thing that's slightly transformed. There's no critique to McDonald's. This is not a political statement. This is pure pop. This is just a slight transformation into the Moschino's logo, which is the heart of a McDonald's logo, which is the arched M. Now this has nothing really political in it. This is one-to-one pure pop. It's like a cutesy take on a huge brand we already know, and then we have a relatively known fashion brand because Moschino wasn't at its height when Jeremy stepped in, and then he made it hyped again. But this is not pretentious. This is just pure pop, no pretension whatsoever. It's just a cutesy kind of transformation from A to A, not from A to B. We're not any wiser after seeing this collection, nor are we any dumber. It's just pure pop, colorful, in your face, friendly, sort of fashion that kind of helps you communicate to one another. I am wearing Vivienne Westwood. This is a pirate shirt with the squiggle print in gold by Vivienne Westwood. This is a kind of an archival piece from the 80s that has been brought back to life a couple of years back. That's when I purchased it for the occasion. Why am I wearing Vivienne Westwood? Well, let's go to when fashion really becomes political. Debna, want to learn a lesson? Here you go. Spring Summer 16, Vivienne Westwood's Man collection. Silk and cotton. What does this sweater say? Politicians are criminals campaign. The entire collection was condemning mostly everything that politicians say or do. It's a call to wake up. It's a call to make you understand that you should not blindly trust everything you hear. I wear all of these pieces. Well, no, there's one piece I haven't worn yet. You'll see it in a minute. In my other videos and stuff. There's a call to arms almost, to understand what is happening in the world, to become more intelligent, to scrutinize everything that comes your way. This is when fashion is really political, and this is when it's actively political. This is when it's functionally political. Bernie Sanders on Balenciaga is not political. It's a show-off. It's pure and simple arrogant wannabeism. There is no real desire to better the world within this Demna for Balenciaga with Bernie Sanders incorporated within it. Collection inspiration. There's just the willpower of showing off yourself. And that is disgusting to me. And it's hidden by this Bernie veil. They're using somebody so respected and loved like Bernie Sanders, and all my love and respect to Senator Bernie Sanders, but they're using him, exploiting him for all the wrong reasons. You might say, oh, Vivienne just did this one piece. The entire collection was about politicians are criminals. But let's move on. The next collection she made was, to fight for Assange and to free Assange. And now the next collection yet again is about a new way of dealing with electricity. I think she calls it ecotricity. She's collaborating with a guy who started a totally new concept of electricity, and she made a whole collection inspired to promote this new way of electricity. Not just that. When Bradley Manning was captured unjustly, imprisoned, and Bradley was still not Chelsea, she immediately stepped up that year at the Met Gala. It was all about punk, so they invited her as the guest of honor because she is the mother of punk when it comes to fashion. They did not even let her really talk. She cut out a picture of Bradley Manning, put it in a plastic little bag and hung it. I think she used it as a brooch, but she also created a version that you could hang like as a necklace. And wanted to talk about that. That's punk, At the red carpet of the Met Gala, they gave her a platform to interview her for national or whatever international television. And instead of telling to the world how amazing she is and how fabulous her collections are, she's like, I got something to say. What is being done to Bradley, Chelsea Manning, is unjust. And they cut her off. They didn't even let her finish her sentence. But she pushed it. This bag, and I posted this on Instagram. Whoever doesn't follow me could check out my Instagram profile. It's called Super Dacob, all spelled together. I said, now finally that President Obama has granted freedom as of May 2017 to Chelsea. I won't need to wear this bag anymore for Chelsea, but I will still have to wear this bag for all the other people that are fighting for freedom and that are fighting for truth and that are unjustly being torn of that privilege themselves of having their own freedom. So this bag is not obsolete. This bag is still more than necessary today than it was yesterday. That's when fashion hits politics the right way. She creates even more bags. One fell on the floor. Here it is. And I'm pushing away all my lights here, guys. Moral outrage. Vivienne Westwood's battle for animal farms, juxtaposing them to mass production of animals. This is rather about isolating and creating farms, smaller farmers that have their own animals that grow their animals where you know where they're coming from. They're not encaged in really tiny environments. At times, chickens that have their beaks cut off so they don't pluck each other to death because they're in a very small environment. I mean, a lot of ruthless shit goes down in this world, and we take everything for granted. And I think that Demna with Balenciaga is just a show-off thing for hipsters, really. And it doesn't have any real political message. It tarnishes. It has a disguise of a political message to make you feel even better about yourself while you're spending $5,000 or euro to buy a jacket that has some sort of little addition of a Democratic Bernie Sanders type of logo. Awful. So that was Vivienne. There is yet another approach to politics within fashion. And this is something very interesting. A lot of you hate, and I know a lot of my subscribers really hate this collection and collaboration, but a lot of you really like it. It is very controversial, or if we want to say it very posh, controversial. And that is, and I have here, and I've never showed this before, and I have it in my archives. I've never worn it. I literally purchased this piece just to have it as a reference for the future, for whenever I need it, whenever I, would give a lecture or whatever, talk about fashion, talk about history of fashion or politics within fashion. This is the piece that is worth gold because it speaks volumes. Now, for those of you who don't know what this is, I'll show you the logo in a minute. There, now you see the logo. This is the Yeezy season. I'm going to stand up for this. Yeezy season 1. It's a big piece. It is the destroyed sweater. Now, of course, Kanye West, you could say, you can see here, it's all torn and damaged. You could say that he, copied a lot of other designers, that he copied a lot of references from the past, from a lot of other brands, from the history, without really thinking too much about it. But let's not forget one thing. He still moves masses to such an extent and degree that you can't really avoid noticing and acknowledging the fact that something is going down there whenever he's around. This collection took over 2 years to create. A lot of changes went down, happened over and over and over again. He was very hard to please, and yet the collection was released, and we have this as the biggest, in my personal opinion, example of the entire Yeezy mentality and concept. It still has its original tag. It's been slightly bent. That doesn't matter though. Oh my God, this thing. Okay, so I just saw the price again. The price is a joke as well. This is a torn piece. It's a political statement about liberation, freedom. He wanted the masses to be able to afford this. And then something like this comes out that costs, I dare not say how much. You could Google and then you'll figure out the price. There's just such a discrepancy between what his intentions might have been or what his perception of reality is and what really reality is. Because a sweater like this that has been damaged and torn, yes, it's made in Italy, it's not made in China. Oh no, it's not made in Italy. This one is made in Belgium. And it's made in Belgium because Adidas has a contract, or they have in Belgium a factory that produces their knitwear for the more special collections. So you will see Y3 particular knitwear is also produced in Belgium, and as was this particular sweater, which is 100% wool. Now, if you notice, there's a lot of upcoming wannabe brands out there, and I'm not going to be shady, so I'm not going to name them, but if you look at their representation of their collections these days, they tend to be very Yeezy Season 1 like these models, very Vanessa Beecroft, models standing, just not moving. You're walking through the space, rather observing them. They don't walk around. It's nothing that hasn't been done before. It has been done even before Vanessa Beecroft and before the Yeezy Season 1 collection, but nevertheless, it really brought this type of performative representation of a fashion collection to make it even more captivating to the audiences, and especially to the political instances a society is living in, it brought that really back to the highest of levels and of interest. And why? Because when you analyze the Yeezy Season 1 collection, as expensive and unaffordable as it is, you still feel, and I've said this before, the sense of urgency that is there. You look at it and you have to look at it. You can't look away. It showcases misery. It showcases anger. It showcases will to change. It showcases the fact that our society is at a point where something needs to change. And the whole framework, now we know that a millionaire hip-hopper, singer, whatever he calls himself, artist, is behind it. But nevertheless, forget all that for a second and just visualize this within the context of today and how magnetic it really is to look at. Why? Because it does tell us something about our times. It's political without it even wanting to be too political. This is kind of the opposite of that really wannabeism of Demna for Balenciaga with Bernie Sanders, of this like, look, let's make it very, very, very sure, we have to be very, very sure that people will get the fact that this is a Democratic guy, that it is Senator Bernie Sanders on our clothes with his kind of campaign logos or slogans or whatever, or colorways. The type of political that the Yeezy Season 1 is, it's not in your face in that way. It's not trying at all. It's actually trying very, very hard to, like an onion, peel off all the unnecessary layers and get to the core, to the root of the problem. And yet it's so intelligently done because the root of the problem, it does not deliver it on a silver platter. It just hints at it. And it's supposed to awaken you and wake you up to make you want to do the research necessary to obtain the actual answers to all of these questions. And this is something super fascinating to me. And this need of information, of the truth, is really something that wakes up from within you when you watch the Yeezy depictions. Whether you like the Yeezy styles or not, it's irrelevant. This is an ugly sweater. It's a military sweater that has been, built to be torn. We're not talking about dope, lit. Forget all that bullshit, all those words that kind of have been invented to make things look even more cool. Cool ain't cool no more. Cool has never been cool. The second cool becomes cool, it's not cool. Is that cool? So, this is not a beautiful sweater. Beauty is irrelevant. Proportions are irrelevant. What is relevant is the message that it conveys, and it conveys a very precise message. It makes you want to look for more, to dig, to understand, to question things. And that's where, again, I point out education. Education is so important and vital. Everything that inspires people to want to learn more, to observe more, to dig more deeper underneath the surface is good by me. So you can see, perhaps now you understand a bit more, because a lot of you have been asking me, why am I, not a fan of Balenciaga? Why am I not a fan of Balenciaga today or of Vêtements? That's the reason. Let's not talk Balenciaga. Let's just talk Vêtements alone. The DHL T-shirts, this I don't want to say postmodernist, post-nothing, wannabe kind of, this is like DHL. You could get the T-shirt for $16, but then if you buy it from Vuitton, it's $300 or whatever it costs. And we don't care, so we're going to make luxurious at DHL. That's a political statement. DHL T-shirt is going to become luxury product. It's so wannabe. It's so arrogant in so many ways that I can't even begin to describe my disrespect for this sort of creativity. Because, ultimately what this does is it creates a sort of hype that veers towards young people, not just young people, that veers towards people that fall into this sort of booby trap to kind of take things even less seriously, you know? And listen, when it comes to fashion, I always say, you always have to be able to laugh about yourself. This is not about that. This is not about, oh, wait a minute, Dacob is saying we should be laughing about ourselves. No, you should be laughing about yourself. You should be enjoying the fashion, whatever, but don't buy it for the wrong reasons. Vivienne Westwood, on every bill from World's End you get, it says, buy less, choose well. She's boycotting her own brand. She states it. She's like, I'm putting it out there for you. On your own bill, you have an inscription that says, buy less, choose well. This is not the case for Vuitton. Vuitton wants you to buy more, choose less. By choose less, meaning do not, think too much about what you buy. Just buy more, consume. But there's no critique towards consumerism. Also, there are police like Polizei capes. It's a pop that's super arrogant because it wants to be egocentric to an extent that just is not pleasant to look at anymore, because it reminds me of all the wrong type of people, all the people that buy and choose to buy this piece for all the wrong reasons. That's all I have to say on the subject. I hope you understand what I have to say, and I hope you don't take this out of context, or that you kind of, I hope you don't understand this as a critique towards you if you are into Vuitton. I mean, I understand that there's a lot of love for it and for what Demna does. I'm just one of those opinions that goes against, in this particular case, against the masses, because on all fronts, almost on all fronts, from critiques to clients and customers, everybody is very pro Vuitton and Balenciaga. I have only positive raving critiques have come out. I'm the only one that dares say otherwise. I'm not afraid. I mean, if you have another opinion, I respect your opinion. I hope you will respect mine, though, as well. Otherwise, come for me. I'm ready to debate and discuss anything that you might bring to the table, as long as it's brought to the table with respect. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you like this video. If you have, please do thumb it up. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel here on YouTube. I'm also on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. No matter how much you are being criticized for what you believe in, for who you are, still never give up on love, because that's the only way to survive. Bye, love you.